Again, people, where our ever charismatic manager, which is Erik ten Hag, comes out and dashes all hopes of us seeing an half-decent team play this weekend. Well, we don't know yet. We're waiting to see what Erik ten Hag says. He's coming out and speaking to the media this afternoon. What I found is no one really cares about what ten Hag says, so I think it's more fun to actually guess what he's going to say and then have a little short comment on it after it's actually happened. Because let's be honest, he's not really one of them people that fills you with confidence, is he, from press conferences? So yeah, let's try and keep ourselves upbeat and happy and, let's just say, optimistic for the weekend ahead. But there is news regarding RASMUS AVAILIBLE, Tyrell Malacia on the injury front. We'll do a catch up on Dan Ashworth and what's happening there. But we have to, obviously, I tell you what, let's just introduce the show. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. Welcome along to the show, everybody. Let's quickly go through what's happening with Mike Ashworth right now. Exactly the same as what was happening last week. Nothing to talk about. Nothing's changed. Let INEOS do their job. We're moving on to the injuries. It's a non-story. Let's carry on. RASMUS AVAILIBLE, people. We need him. We need him badly. Since he's been out of the team, we have been crap. Let's be honest. Absolutely shocking. Dreadful. Humiliated twice without him in the team in the league. Almost humiliated again by going on FA Cup against Nottingham Forest. We scraped by in that one, and the season is hanging on by the tiniest of threads. We need everyone available to us. Ten Hag, like I said, is going to be speaking, and I'm pretty certain that the journalists are going to be asking him that very question. That's got to come out first. I'm going to say Simon Peach, first question, and he asks exactly what the injury updates are and who is available that wasn't available in the last game. That's exactly what will happen straight off the bat in this press conference. You watch it, guys. It'll be Simon first. Andrew will go, the press officer Andrew will go straight to Simon Peach. He will say any updates on injuries. Now, we've all seen the video on social media of Jacob. I know Jacob well. He's always getting pictures with the players, and his dad was behind him asking behind the camera about RASMUS if he was actually going to be available. Are you fit? Are you in training? RASMUS was there to collect his Player of the Month for February, which was fantastic, let's be honest. The shining light in this team right now, or when he's fit. He was collecting that. He was doing his media duties. That's what he was saying in the car. He's not trained yet. So that, for me, spells disaster. Well, it's not disaster. I'm not going to over-egg it in what it really is. But honestly, I look at it and I go, if RASMUS isn't fit, we are going to struggle against Everton as well. As bad as Everton are, we struggled against Fulham. We were completely played off the park by Manchester City because we didn't have an out ball, and we were lucky against Forest, like I said, all these games without RASMUS AVAILIBLE. So yeah, it is a massive concern and what he brings to the team, and I think Erik ten Hag's hopes of salvaging anything out of this season all rest upon RASMUS AVAILIBLE coming back fit. It's sad to say that one man has this much of an impact, but it just goes to show how much he's turned his season around from the sort of shaky-ish start that he did have. So really, if he isn't fit, we're worried. You don't want to rush a player back, though. We've done this before, and we've absolutely killed players off for longer periods. I think he's definitely going to be available for the Liverpool game next weekend, which is good news. And we'll have a full week's rest before that. So you could say that that is probably... It's probably the better outcome if we're making sure that he is actually properly fit before we rush him back. But honestly, all I'm thinking about is the game tomorrow against Everton, and I'm going, oh God, no, Marcus Rashford up front again. It just doesn't work. It does not work, and it will not work. We're going to have to put someone else in there. Honestly, I would do what we did against City and play Bruno Fernandes as the false nine. I would. I think he can hold it up better than what Marcus Rashford and Scott McTominay both can. And if you want that target man 10, then maybe put Scott McTominay back in at that again. He'd play a similar system, but actually have the balls to put some players up front and leave them there. So we've actually got an out. Stay solid, stay in shape like we was against City. You know you can do it because you've nearly done it. You've done it for over a game and a half against the two best teams in the league, in City and Liverpool. So we know we can defend as a unit. There has to be a plan B with that defensive unit. Without RASMUS AVAILIBLE, this is where we struggle. So I look at it and I go, why not just commit people forward, staying forward, and then we can get the ball to them and actually have an out of defending. Not that we're expecting to do too much defending against Everton, how poor they are, but I feel like this would be an absolute end of days for Erik ten Hag if he didn't get the result against Everton this weekend. We'll talk more about the Everton game later tonight in the full-on preview show. Full-on interactive mode tonight, people, so make sure you're tuned in for that one at 6:30. But yeah, Rasmus HOJLUND back at Carrington, but not fully training yet. My guess is, in the press conference at 1:30 today, Ten Hag is going to be saying Rasmus is still not fit, hasn't made it in time, somewhere along them lines. What questions are going to come next? What's going to happen next in the press conference? I would say it will be along the lines of there's not really much else to talk about. I mean, some people will go into all of the managerial talk, the press conference, the journalist that is. They'll start talking about what the MEN have been talking about. I mean, Samuel Luckhurst will be there, so I think it was him who had the article or the story with 11 candidates, 11 managers linked with the Manchester United job, and Ten Hag's still in situ. It's madness, isn't it? It really is. Absolute madness, but that is the United world right now. I feel like the big story has to be Rasmus HOJLUND and if he is fit, and I think questions should be sent over to Ten Hag in the lines of, like, is it telling that everyone wants to know if Rasmus HOJLUND is fit, and how your team and your season sort of hinges on this man coming back? It's again going to bring questions about not having an available striker, not having a backup striker, why money wasn't spent in January, and all the same old questions will get regurgitated again within the journalists. It will be a pretty drab, boring press conference, and I'm guessing probably about 10 to 15 max, maybe 12 minutes time-wise. I think that's what we're going to be looking at. And yeah, I think he's not got that much to cover in reality. So I think he'll just try and make it short and snappy, get back out on the training ground, which he usually does like to do. I think the interesting news is, and obviously you've seen the tweets going around on social media and everything like that regarding Tyrell Malacia. Now there is a rumour that Tyrell is actually back in training. Someone put a bit of a joke post up. There's been a few things going around, missing person and all of that with Tyrell Malacia, who hasn't posted on Twitter or Instagram. We haven't seen him play on the pitch. We haven't seen anything of him at all for, God, he's coming up to a bleeding year. Excuse me. And it is starting to get a little bit of a worry now with Tyrell Malacia, isn't it? But the news is that he has actually it's not available, sorry, but he's back in training. We'll see. Another player that needs to turn up, that we need to know more about, is bleeding Mason Mount. Like, you got 3 players there, which right now could change Manchester United's team around. Could change our fortunes, you could say, because we'd have a natural left back, a natural centre forward, and someone different to play in midfield. Say, for instance, if we were thinking of dropping a Bruno Fernandes, or he wanted to play Mason Mount in the 8 with Casemiro, Mount and Bruno, rest Mayu because he's fallen off a little bit. He's young. You just got to expect that with the likes of Kobe Mayu. But I think there, 3 signings, all Ten Hag signings as well. I think this is where he has got his out, I feel. It's like he could easily say, look, right now, I have got a third of my signings, a third of this team that are out missing are my signings, and I know that this team would be better with them in. Like I just said there, like you could talk about Rasmus HOJLUND, Tyrell Malacia, Mason Mount, Lisandro Martinez. If them 4 players were available, then you're probably looking at Manchester United's fortunes on the up. I would say you'd feel a lot more confident going forward. I think definitely with them 4 in, Ten Hag has got a shout and an excuse, really, for not being completely ready for games. I wouldn't say, no, not completely ready, but not having everything there to combat his opponents, I would say. I think that's how you would look at it. So I think with what Ten Hag has been dealing with injury-wise, he's always going to have that little bit of an out and a little bit of an excuse to get out of it this season. But still, it's like not giving clarity on the injuries or how these injuries have come about just makes everyone start talking more, and it just starts the conspiracy theories again. I mean, The fact that Tyrone Malacia hasn't even posted anything on social media for nearly a year, that is strange. That is very, very, very strange. It's like, has anybody seen him? I've not seen any pictures, hardly, of him. And it is just a weird one. So I'm guessing that the press conference, that question is going to be brought up and people are going to be talking about that as well. There are also more rumours. I don't know if it will be brought up, but you can see on the bottom of your screen there, latest tweet that I've put out from this morning, just something a little bit different. That again, conversations and negotiations are going on for Kobbie Mainoo for a new contract. Well, he's got a decent contract. We've talked about this before. He's got a 10-year. Wow, that would be something. When he's got a 10 grand a week, 5-year deal in place right now. It's not bad, is it, for an 18-year-old? But there are talks going where it could be an enhanced one, an enhanced offer which runs until 2029 still as well. So yeah, it'll just be more money. If all parties are happy, they want to tie Kobbie Mainoo down, then you've got to look at it and go, understandable, but for me, still jumping the gun. I'd just leave him where he is. I don't think he needs to have a new contract. I think maybe if next season he's playing the same way he is this season, you have to start thinking, right, okay, he's got only the 4 years left. So, yeah, you can see why we shouldn't be panicking right now. And I'd be very surprised if INEOS were looking into doing this, like, now. I mean, I understood, like, Garnacho on 50 grand a week for a 5-year deal doesn't seem that bad. It really doesn't, but it doesn't mean that every single teenager that comes into the team is going to be absolutely brilliant because they've had a good 3 months. Give Kobbie Mainoo the time to settle in properly and be comfortable. Some would say he is now, but no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, give him till the end of the season and then let's see how he starts playing next season. Let's not forget, second season syndrome is an absolute, it's a virus at Manchester United. Everyone gets it. So, should we be jumping the gun half a season in for Kobbie Mainoo? I'm not disregarding what he's done. I'm not throwing any disrespect on the player at all. But I just feel like Manchester United, if we're going to set the precedent, I think we really should be looking at this and Kobbie Mainoo and going, look, it's time to just settle into a realistic plan for younger players coming through from the academy, because it's going to be big. And we have got a lot of talent coming through. We don't want that talent automatically thinking that he's just going to go, as soon as he gets into the first team, has a couple of months in there, does well, he's going to get a big bumper contract. I think it's just completely wrong. Look at what Liverpool are doing with their youngsters right now. You're not seeing them getting big deals. And the likes of Bradley that have come through, who's absolutely tearing it up down that right-hand side for Liverpool. Other players as well. You've got to look at them and go, look, they're not going to be getting offered these deals. So why are United offering these deals to these players? These players know that if they do it right, then if you're at Manchester United, the rewards will come anyway, because we always pay decent wages. United have always been up there. And also Jim Radcliffe's coming through now, and the whole performance-related contract situation and structure is going to be moved in. And I really hope that they do stand strong on that. But yeah, I feel like we should just, with Kobbie, see him out this season and let's see how he starts next season. And maybe halfway through next season, if he's in the form that he's been showing this season, it's consistent and he's adapting to the changes. Because let's not forget, he might not have Casemiro next to him next season. It's only going to take one injury and then more responsibility falls on his shoulders. And then you're stuck. It could happen. Anything could happen. I just give him the time. Give him that season at least. So he's had this second season next, and he'll still have bleeding 4 years left after this season's finished on his contract. So it's not like we're actually in a tricky situation. Actually, guys, where do you think he should go? He's actually debating his nationality at the moment. So dual nationality between Ghana and England. If I was him, honestly, looking at that England midfield, I would be going to Ghana. No disrespect at all, but I just don't see him getting in ahead of who is in that midfield right now. You're not going to dislodge Declan Rice. He's going to be there for years. So Kobbie Mainoo is going to be at an international level, early 20s soon enough. Declan Rice is still going to be there. I don't see him taking it. I think he'd probably sway towards going to Ghana, to be honest, to get the game time. I would love him in an England shirt. I really would. I just don't think he's anywhere near the level that he needs to be competing with that quality of midfielder that England have got right now. There's no disrespect at all, but we have to be real here, and I don't think Cobby's at that level yet. He's going to take time, a little bit more, I think, and he will develop, if we play our cards right, into that one midfielder that we have been craving for so long. I think he has got everything that he needs. He just needs to do so much. He needs to fill out. He needs to develop. He needs to be used to playing season in, season out, and handling the pressures. Because let's be honest, people are moaning about Garnacho now. So last season it was, yeah, it was all nice. It was all nicey. Everyone was excited. The next big thing coming out of United, all of the pundits, people on the radio, he's going to be the one that makes it. I still think he will, by the way. But you still, and I know for certain, I've heard people on this show, people in the stadium bemoaning Garnacho, saying he's not that. I don't know what all the hype is about. So this can easily happen. So you've got to look at it and go, let's keep his feet on the ground. Let's make sure he is settled. Make sure that everything is right with him. He fits in with the club. The changes that are coming, and he can still be at the level that he is now. Even better, hopefully. And then we move on from there, I think. I think that's what it is. Guys, please give the video a like. We are just creeping up to the 100 like mark. Thank you so much for tuning in. Friday morning, the eve of football, Premier League, Everton at home. Early kickoff for United. Our early kickoff record. I can't remember the last early kickoff we had on a Saturday, actually. Someone will tell me in the chat, I'm sure. But I can't remember which one it was. I never really liked the early kickoffs. I didn't. I felt like United were always ill prepared, but then we were actually still in Europe, so really it doesn't matter for us this week because we've had a full week's preparation and there's really no excuse. I find it weird that Ten Hag is doing his press conference today. It would usually be on the Thursday, going off recent events, but yeah, I do think early kickoffs, not United's thing. I'm going to get into the chat on all of that we just opened up, and then I'm going to move on to the next topic. So get to me on Mayu, and please let me know if you feel like United can get anything without Rasmus HOJLUND. Please fill me with confidence. I've got a poll going right now as to what you feel Ten Hag is going to do. Is he going to ruin our weekend and say that HOJLUND is not available? Or is he going to say HOJLUND is fit and surprise everyone and give us that boost on a Friday? HOJLUND is fit is saying 28%, 72 to the HOJLUND not available. Graham says he's going to be available. Graham's not seen the video, has he? Liam Whitehouse. I think I'd lose McTominay. He was invisible. I'd play Bruno false 9 and use Eriksen, Mayu and Casemiro in midfield. Shout. Good morning, Adam and everyone. Welcome, Jim. Hope you're well. Prashant says, I actually would like Mount to start playing games when he is fit. When being the key word in all of that one, mate. And we just don't know. Terrell Marshall and Anthony Malacia, says Steffen. Someone's having jokes in there. Guys, keep having your conversations in the chat. That's what this community is like here on FUTV. I want you guys to have your little gets-togethers in the chat as we're going. Don't forget to throw the odd comment to me as well, though. Martial, absolutely unstoppable, says Boxing Straight Talk. He is unstoppable. Someone's unstoppable getting to that bleeding pitch. Thank you for the 100 likes, guys. Please keep the likes coming in. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel as well. It's Forever United TV. I'm Adam, telling you everything straight as it is. I did say at the top of the show as well regarding Dan Ashworth. It's a non-story today, guys. Nothing's moved. Nothing's changed. The only thing that really needs talking about on that is the situation we're actually in. And there was a piece in the MEN. It was talking about not getting the Champions League will put Manchester United a year behind. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe's 3-year plan ultimately is a year behind already without the extra money and being able to develop the playing staff to the level that he would want to work with this 3-year plan. I kind of get that. I also feel like this 3-year plan without a structure in this summer is in serious jeopardy. It really is. So that's how I look at it, and I say, look, if they can't get this Dan Ashworth deal done, we're stuck between what they want to happen and what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said in this interview. Sir Jim Ratcliffe cannot lose face straight away. That's just ludicrous money. We're not going to be paying that. if United end up paying that, then it just looks like Sir Jim Ratcliffe all of a sudden has gone, oh, yeah, we've just got to do it. It's just the way it is. But everyone, and I mean everyone, anyone who criticised INEOS in particular taking over will just say, isn't that just what United always did? Pay over the top for everyone. Why is it different now? It's not, because Sir Jim has just buckled to the first challenge that he's had when it comes to actually making a signing. The Omar Barada one gave us all confidence and we all had this high expectation. The longer Dan Ashworth drags out, the more concerned everyone starts to get with, like, has anything really changed? INEOS, I think he should have just made a point, like, we will negotiate, we will just get the deal done to make it work for United. That's what's more important. We need to be putting the football first, and if this helps United progress in that department, then we have to just make it happen. Keep it simple, Jim. Instead, he said that's ludicrous, we won't be paying that. Newcastle were watching it. I did a video, over a month and a half ago now, saying have INEOS made their first mistake? Has Sir Jim made his first mistake by being so bullish? It's looking that way at the moment, because we're not getting anything extra out of this Dan Ashworth story, and nothing convincing like this is going to happen anytime soon is coming out from any report. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's not so much what's happening behind the scenes in the story there, it's just our concerns about how this is not moving on now. It is really starting to turn into its own saga already, and it does bring into that story about the 3-year contract, the 3-year turnover period for INEOS, and what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said for Manchester United to be back up there competing again. It's nowhere near where we need to be right now, I don't think. Having Dan Ashworth in and all of our staff in, it's like, why are none of the other staff being employed? Why is there no announcement on this? Are we literally having to wait for Dan Ashworth so then he can build his team and have to stay on his team? Are they really not allowed to talk to Dan Ashworth now he's on gardening leave at all? Is this the delay? It just makes you wonder and makes you think. And obviously, with the way that the football is on the pitch and Champions League drifting away, it just makes things look a bit more aggy, you would say, doesn't it? It just makes us look more disorganised. It sort of sets the negative tone that off the pitch, we're still pretty much the same. Nothing has changed. And on the pitch, we're just as bad, if not worse. So, yeah, I think a little bit of good news off the pitch wouldn't go amiss right now from United. So, hopefully they can get everything rectified and sorted and deal done with Dan Ashworth, because people are going to start turning a little bit. Inside United said Mount is nearly ready for availability. God, it is a big turnaround, big rehab, that, isn't it? It really is. Like Shaw is who we need back. You mean Luke Shaw? It's boxing straight talk, because Malacia is unstoppable anyway. Stop with this unstoppable talk, man. You guys are absolutely extracting the urine now. Red G, welcome to the members club, my friend. Joe, that was donated by Fred. Make sure you give Fred a thank you. I'll do it for you as well. Fred, top man, thank you very much for that. Loving your picture as well. Let me see what else we've got. Get Ashworth a burner phone. I like that one, Simpson. Definitely. Let's get talking. Let's talking off the what's the name? Off the line. God, man. It feels awkward, doesn't it, right now, behind the scenes for United? It does. It's like, you ask any questions to anyone at United. I mean, there's only Ten Hag who's going to ever speak to the media, so he's the only one who's ever going to shed any light on anything. And he's just going to talk in his survival manager mode, isn't he? Like, I'm happy with INEOS. I've heard nothing bad from INEOS. I think we're both on the same page. We both have the same vision. I'm sure that line will come up in the press conference again today, no doubt. Lee Dixon says, I remembered Beckham on the right wing. That guy had a wand of a right peg, but his work rate was something else. It was, Lee. Every player's work rate under Sir Alex, especially in I'd say mid 90s to mid noughties, leading up to the 2008 Champions League victory. Like, you daren't drop off, otherwise you'd lose your place. Absolutely mega teams, mega fit, and guaranteed to run right until the last. Always a guarantee. Adam, will you be cooking for Kaz tonight? I will be cooking something, but I think after the show, I think we said we're just going to go and get a pint. We're going to walk to the pub maybe. So I think that's what's happening. Carol J, who's been a member for 3 months. Absolutely immense, Carol. Thank you so much. I know you've been a great contributor to the channel. Loving you being here. Happy 3-month anniversary to me. Yes, indeed, Carol. Thank you for the message as well. Love that. Love it when members actually appreciate their time that they've had and what influence they do have, because you do have influence, guys, and I want you to accept that praise for being a member of the channel. It does help. It helps us do things, helps us get out and bring that extra content that we brought this morning. There's a couple of little extra videos up there, quite funny actually, some short ones, guys, for you to get into. We filmed them all yesterday outside of Old Trafford, so get into that. It just helps you guys being on board with the channel. It helps us produce that extra bit of content. So yes, Adam will cook beans on croissant. No, just I'll eat the croissant while cooking the beans. Alien, you know what it's like when something's there in front of you when you're cooking. You can't help but eat it, can you? It just is what it is. You've got to just have a bite. It's for me anyway. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but I end up always just eating my food before it hits the plate. If I'm cooking, it is. I hated Beckham's hairstyle at his youth age. I didn't. I thought it was great. Carol has lived up to the name tag there. Look at that. 5 gifted memberships from Carol. Thank you so much, Carol. Absolutely buzzing with that. William Simpson, Guy Rothwell, Barry Partington, Gary Donaldson, and Bexer. Welcome to the Members Club, guys. Hope you are doing well. Make sure you thank Carol in the chat. That is an immense present and gift. Thank you so much, Carol. I think just for Kaz's flight path and update, I don't think she's far away from landing now. Unfortunately for her, she has to stay at Heathrow for a couple of hours. No one likes that airport, do they? No one likes that airport. Get your worst airports in the chat, by the way, while we're at it, guys. I am going to get into other news as well now, but I feel like where everyone's head's at right now in this United favourite, from talking to people, it's sort of like a bit of an update on my week here so far in terms of who I've spoken to, United fans. I've done some content for another channel as well, talking to them, getting their opinions on where everything is with United. The fan base is just in a bit of a flux at the moment. I say this all the time, like the knife edge of like one bit of bad news sending everyone over one side compared to a bit of good news going the other side. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. JJ Koch is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're good. It's a position right now, so like talking to people, it's like I was there with Double A yesterday, as you guys seen outside Old Trafford, and a young lad came up, Shane from, who was at college, just wanted to have his say. We didn't have time to do a separate one because he had to get back, so he just jumped in on the live stream earlier on. If you haven't seen it, he just sees United in a completely different way. It's like a younger generation compared to an older one like myself, just see United completely differently. It's crazy, and that's why I love bringing in different opinions on this channel, because there has to be a balance to it. And I feel like the younger United fan, really, and it's not their fault that they're not as educated on the football because they've not lived through it like a lot of people like myself. They've seen these days, they've seen the standards that we used to have. These guys haven't. So they're looking at it and they're saying, look, everything looks all right. We're doing all right. We got the trophy last season. And you start to thinking, like, are you being too harsh? Are you sort of looking at this in full-on negative mode when you should be actually looking at the positives that are there? I still don't see the positives right now. I see certain ones in players. I see Sir Jim Radcliffe. But like I said, my biggest concern, and I'll keep saying it, I said it from the moment he had that interview, and I've been going on about it ever since, is that he came out and said the 3-year plan. He didn't need to do that. Honestly, I don't think that was a good idea. He set himself up for a fall. He really has. Because everyone's expecting this complete whitewash of players and a complete reset in the summer. I just don't know if we're going to get the complete one. And if he did have Champions League football, it would be a massive bonus, because You can generate more money over the season because of the extra games. You get more money anyway from it. Without it, we're struggling a little bit. And it's harder to bring these players in and move players out. So, yeah, it is important. This is why I do believe that Manchester United should sell Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood and collect the money. I think Mason Greenwood's fee would just about fill the void of not being in the Champions League. So you've got that to fall back on, they could say. Because I think he's definitely going to go now. I have been completely convinced from him coming back to that moment he had with Jude Bellingham and like the first bit of British contact and what happened there, like it is going to be pretty much impossible for him to play in England. So we know that Getafe are in. There was a stupid story come out about Mason Greenwood as well, guys, where Borussia Dortmund are very interested in monitoring the situation for a loan with an obligation to buy. Sod off, Dortmund. Sod off. We don't want to do any more dealings with you. You have stung us constantly. I don't know how we haven't had an allergic reaction to the amount of times we've been stung by Borussia Dortmund. No, don't go anywhere near that club at all when dealing with players. My God. They have basically balanced their books off Manchester United over recent years. It's an absolute joke. First super chat ever for Brett Conway. Thank you, Brett. Have a drink on me, Adam and Kaz later. Great show as always. What a fantastic community. Well done. That is the type of super chat or even just a comment that I love and what I made this channel for. That's what it's about. Thank you so much, Brett. But yeah, it is all community. Absolutely buzzing with that. And I think I'll have a pint of Madry on you, Brett. Thank you, my friend. It'll go down nicely after the news that Rasmus HOJLUND is not available and we've got bleeding Marcus Rashford up top against Everton tomorrow. Oh, God, early start. We will be on early tomorrow, guys, for live outside matchday vibes. Early doors tomorrow around about 9 o'clock. So, yep, you got to be up early. Unfortunately for you guys that's overseas, it's one of them horrible ones for you. I really do feel sorry for you. Like, it is too early. It's not fair. But yeah, make sure you are tuned in bright and early tomorrow, guys, for the live outside Old Trafford matchday vibes. I think we're going to go for a breakfast after that. I even think Graham's going to actually come and meet us as well. So, yeah, we'll get the full sort of scope on Graham's last couple of weeks as well. Get some extra info. And all the vlogs are on as well. Don't forget, don't miss out on them. Guys, by the way, I think I've put it in here, actually. I need to make sure that I have. So it won't be a second. Where is it? No, I need to add it. But, yeah, if you could all go over and follow our TikTok page as well, guys. We are pushing that now as well for all of the clips from all of the shows. So your little update. You've noticed the shorts are going out 10 to the dozen as well, keeping you updated with everything that's gone on. There'll be more this afternoon after the press conference as well, updating you guys on everything that's been happening from Erik ten Hag's presser. So, yeah, keep attuned to that. But give our TikTok a follow. If you just search out Forever United TV on TikTok, you'll see it there. Give us a follow on there. We're doing a lot of work on that as well. Possibly doing some live stuff as well on there at some point, hopefully. Maybe even on match days. But, yeah, that's another one for you actually just to follow. It'd be much appreciated, guys. 150 likes in the bag. Thank you so much, everyone. Brilliant stuff, as everyone says, I always say. 7:30 a.m. kickoff. I usually have a beer. It works for me. It says London 1965-7. Guys, what time is kickoff for you? Let me know where you're watching from. I always start to feel sorry for the overseas fans when games like this come on. I think the later kickoffs suit people better, but like I want to know where you guys are actually watching from, what time it's going to be. I'm just going to quickly click through our social media just to see where we're up to, everyone. Let's see if we've had any early updates on what's going on with everything. Andre Onana's been doing a lot of talking. Did you hear that story about Andre Onana actually being called out by one of the youth players? He was saying like it's a youth player who's actually been in the team who hadn't played hardly any game time at all. And in training, he actually said to Anana, "Are you actually going to save one?" I think this is where Andre Onana's turn and his struggle with the mental side of dealing with Manchester United. I think this is where his turning point probably was. When you get a youth player coming through actually slagging you off in training, it's enough to switch everyone's mind on, isn't it? It really is. But yeah, I think that's where that one's come from anyway. But yeah, but Andre Onana doing a lot of talking. Hopefully he's gonna continue his form and carry on in the vein that he is right now. Gifted membership there that's gone to Hazem. That's come from London. Thank you very much, my man. 7th member of the show, guys. Fantastic. We have got an army, by the way. And guys, if you are a member, stay tuned to the members section later on. There is a little bit of extra content coming out. Another message for you members as well later on this afternoon. So stay tuned. Make sure your notifications are on for the channel as well. You will be getting some more information today. So it's always worth being part of the membership scheme. We've got loads of plans and loads of stuff in the pipeline, guys, going forward. So yeah, it's full on madness right now. Absolute madness with the channel and everything that we've got building up to the end of this season and then into the summer and into next year. Big plans, big plans. So yeah, let's keep the notifications on, guys, so you're updated on everything. Dobby says, the youth players are brutal. They watched Lukaku once and he miscontrolled a pass. Youth player asked him if that was a shot or his first touch. I wouldn't jump the gun too soon if I was a youth player at Manchester United. I wouldn't. What times are you guys actually watching? 12:30 UK time, says Michael. Thanks for that, Michael. 1:30 PM in Italy. Is that hour in front? 1:30 PM kickoff. Where's that from, Carsten? Is that over in Scandinavia as well? Kickoff is 2 hours from UK time, says Dobby. Yeah, everyone's settled in. We'll talk. We'll have a good conversation about what Ten Hag has talked about in detail later on the evening show, guys. And obviously, we will be looking ahead properly to the Everton game and getting all your thoughts on that. But yeah, that's all coming up later on. What do you guys reckon is going to come out in the Netflix series of Jose Mourinho then? That has been announced, and it will cover his time at Manchester United. Wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I don't know how they're going to cover that. Have they got old footage, or are they just talking to him about it? I don't know. It'll probably be like similar to the Robbie Williams sort of documentary on Netflix, won't it? Where he's just looking back at moments, probably interviews and stuff like that, I'm guessing. But it's something that we'll definitely be watching. Definitely be watching. With all of the talk is today, when we're talking to Double A and everyone else outside of Old Trafford, it was like no one mentioned Jose Mourinho's name in the managers. It's like Southgate, no. Potter, no. De Zerbi, no. I mean, De Zerbi last night didn't help his cause at all. Well, Brighton definitely didn't. Inzaghi was mentioned yesterday. Obviously, Nagelsmann for myself. We've had Tuchel. Jose Mourinho, anyone? Are we going to go there? No? Hey. You can only try, can't you? You can only try. You can indeed. But yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up absolutely everything that's going on right now. All that's left for us to do is wait for Ten Hag's press conference this afternoon, get an update on that. I'll bring you some updates on that later on as well, so stay tuned for that. Members, stay tuned in as always, like I said, for later on this afternoon with what's going on this weekend for you guys. And obviously, we've got all of the content that is tomorrow, guys. So yeah, keep a track of everything. I will speak to you all later on. Have a great rest of your Friday, and let's do this, guys. Hopefully Ten Hag's going to bring us that news later on, and we're all going to be happy seeing RASMUS AVAILBLE back in the Manchester United team again. I really do hope that he is. Let's finish that poll up. What you guys actually think? 29% say he's going to be fit. HOJLUND still missing 71%. Just a bit of fun on that one, guys. But hey, that is us all done and dusted, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back with the updates later, like I said. But until then, have a good one. Stay safe. And have a great rest of your Friday. Oh, just on the end there. United Metal, welcome to the members club. General Foodie set me up there right at the end of the show to make it 8 new members for the show. Thank you so much, General Foodie. You absolute legend of a man. And guys, I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic day. Come on, United.